between cups of coffee, morning commutes, lunch breaks, and unwinding at the end of the day, a lot takes place.
Here's the run that he's looking for. Johnny Benson's going to push. They're going to be outside. To the outside goes Kyle Busch, but it's Todd Bodine crossing the start-finish line.
Daytona 250 winner. How's that feel?
Man, does that sound good.
Here he goes. He makes contact. David Starr keeps it straight. They're side by side. Three wide down the backstretch. Donnie Leah has the edge. Donnie Leah will win at Mansfield.
Darnell has the lead. He's on the high side of the track. Johnny Benson pulls to the inside. He gets a great run coming off turn number 4. He's there, but Darnell is with him. That is a photo finish.
Eric Darnell gets the win.
A couple of youngsters trying to be first-time winners on the Craftsman Truck Series.
Coming out of turn number 4, can Matt Crafton hold on to win his first ever truck race? He will. Matt Crafton wins at Lowe's.
Finally, we can shut them up. Now they can say, when's the second one coming?
Johnny Benson, 3 in a row from Milwaukee.
A big jump for Johnny Benson in the championship point standings. He comes to the line, picking up the victory.
He led the most laps, and he wins at New Hampshire.
What a dominating performance for Ron Hornaday.
Problems with Johnny Benson. He gets into the wall. Not only was he your race leader, he is your points leader, but that could change tonight. Huge complications now for Ron Hornaday, looking to repeat as champion. Johnny Benson will win the Built Ford Top 225. Coming out of 4, across the start-finish line, Hornaday wins in Texas. Problems already. There goes Ron Hornaday. He turns around. Into the wall he goes.
Ooh, Johnny.
No, Johnny's in it. Johnny Benson gets involved in this one once again.
Let me go to the garage or right here?
Over 24.
Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series 4200 on Speed. Homestead Miami Speedway, the site, Homestead, Florida. 2 championship
and remove your hats as the Homestead Police Department and the South Dade Junior ROTC presents our nation's colors. Remain standing as Pastor Pat Sealer of Calvary Chapel, Kendall offers tonight's invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this beautiful evening and the opportunity to be here tonight. We pray for each driver. Thank you for the gifts that you've given them. We pray that you'd protect them, that you'd watch over them and guide them tonight. We pray for their families and the crew chiefs and the teams, the administration and staff at this great track, and we pray for all of the fans that are here tonight. Lord, we thank you for this great country that we live in. We pray for those that are serving this country faithfully day by day. And Lord, most of all, we thank you for Jesus, who gave his life on the cross so we could have forgiveness and eternal life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Homestead Miami Speedway and WKIS Kiss Country NASCAR Idol winner, Sierra Emanuel of Weston, Florida, as she performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Drivers are climbing into their trucks. 9 months, 24 races, and it's all going to come down to this, the final 134 laps. Welcome back to Ford Championship Weekend here at Homestead Miami Speedway. The big story has to be our Ford Championship point standings. Just 3 points separating our top two. Johnny Benson comes in with a lead, but it is of the slightest measure. 3 points between he and Ron Hornaday. Hello, everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Darrell Waltrip, in addition to the crew here, and Michael Waltrip with you tonight to enjoy what is going to be a great championship battle. And Phil, we've got one of the tightest, if not the tightest ever, obviously here in the Truck Series, but the tightest ever in NASCAR.
Yeah, we really do. And I tell you, Ron Hornaday's been here before. He came into the last race a few years ago with a slight lead, won the championship. He came in here with a bigger lead, won the championship. He came here at a deficit last year and won the championship. So he's been here before. Johnny Benson came here in 2006 over 100 points behind. So it's a little bit different scenario. And when he won his Busch title in 1995, he clinched it way before he even got to the last race of the season. So Hornaday has more experience in this type of scenario than Johnny does, but who knows what's going to happen.
Darrell, you've come to the last race of the year with a slight lead and lost that championship. You've also come with a slight lead and won the championship. What are the emotions these guys are faced with right now?
Well, you know what? There's two guys that they're racing for the championship, but there are 34 other guys out there you got to dodge. And so you don't want to get into somebody's mess like we saw Brandon Gong do here back in '03. So you got that on your mind. The other thing is, I guarantee you this is going to be exciting. One way or another, there has not been a championship battle in the Truck Series in my lifetime that has not come down to the wire. Even some of them decided after the checkered flag fell. So, and I feel sorry for Johnny Benson. He needs to win this. He needs a job.
Well, I think he'll be okay. We got to remember guys like Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick could play into this championship battle tonight. Let's get the engines fired. We go down for the command.
Your engines!
A quick command, and just as quickly, the emotions rise. We saw fireworks moments ago. We saw the flyover. Now it's about time to see the green flag. Right back. Welcome back. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Now get over 130 of your favorite channels in 8
Kevin Wood, Phil. He's starting in the 28th position. He is a third-generation Wood Brothers family racer. His first cousin, John Wood, has won before on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He's looking to repeat that same feat. This is the biggest track this young man has ever raced on, so he's going to learn a lot tonight.
We have numerous cameras around the racetrack that are going to give you some great pictures, but we're also riding along with 5 different trucks. One of those is Mike Skinner. He starts up front. That'll give us a great view. The other one, Travis Kvapil, is carrying our Ford on board. He'll start 12th. Johnny Benson has the Toyota on board. He starts in the 8th position. The Lumber Liquidators on board of Todd Bodine will start 18th. And the Camping World on board of Ron Hornaday will start 4th tonight.
We're going to ride along with the guy racing for a championship. I love that. This is going to be so much fun.
It will be enjoyable. Our final thoughts before the green flag come out. Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, everybody's asked me all week who's going to win this championship, and honestly, I have no idea. The closest battle we've ever had in Craftsman Truck Series history. But let's look at the tail of the tape. When you see the numbers, how close are Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday? It's amazing. Their wins, top 5s, top 10s, so close. But look at laps led. Hornaday way ahead in that department, and maybe the most telling number at the bottom right. 3 DNFs this year for Johnny Benson. If either of these drivers have a DNF tonight, the championship will be over. Adam?
And regardless, Ray, which one of these drivers is able to win the championship tonight, it will be huge as far as history is concerned in NASCAR. For Johnny Benson, the championship would mean only the 2nd driver to win a title in both the truck and Nationwide Series. Greg Biffle the other. And what about Ron Hornaday, trying to become only the 4th driver to win 4 NASCAR championships? He would put his name alongside guys like Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, and Jeff Gordon. Very impressive. Now to Chris Devoto.
Well, as you guys talk about this championship, remember it's also the end of an era, the Craftsman era, and no sponsor has been involved longer than Team ASC. All but 7 of Craftsman's 342 Truck Series races. Tonight, Terry Cook tries to give them their 109th top 5, and they believe they can do it.
Take a look at Scott's speed. Scott was scheduled to qualify or start in the 7th position. He came down pit road. It looks like possibly that maybe his transmission was hung in between 2 gears. That's what I would guess.
Yeah, it looked like somebody went under, and that's kind of what the motion that they made indicated, Phil, that the thing had maybe gotten stuck in 2 gears there, and they had to fix that before the race started here, obviously.
The emotions are at their highest. We're about to get this one underway. 3 points separating 2 drivers. But remember, 36 trucks on the racetrack. We've got to get them underway. I want to send it over to a Waltrip. I think it's only fitting to get this one underway.
You mean my she bangs, she moves is finally gaining some momentum?
No. What is that?
She bangs, she moves.
She be quiet.
Yeah, good.
How about another Waltrip?
Oh, not him.
Well, let's go with him.
Let me try it. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Lay it on the line, boys.
Look at this. Kevin Harvick to the inside. Right as the green flag flies, he tries to take over the lead before they get to turn 1.
And does it. Drives by Mike Skinner.
What a great start by Kevin Harvick. He was about a truck length, off the back of Skinner. When they threw the green, he had timed it perfectly and drove to the inside.
That truck's got that Atlanta look to it, boys.
2 and 3 wide as they go down the backstretch and into turn 3 and 4.
Boy, look at Skinner. He just drove in way hard, and he got in the gas, and they took off with
3 wide behind him.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Johnny Benson is trapped down on the inside of the racetrack. We know how dangerous that is. It's hard to get grip down there.
I'm just anxious to see how Johnny's truck's going to perform after that practice session last night. I know they qualified pretty good, but oh boy, is it good enough to race?
Boy, Daryl, that qualifying lap gave us hope. You know, we've said Hornaday's going to be tough to beat tonight. We thought after qualifying maybe Johnny did indeed have a truck to go race Ron with. I'm like you, it'll be interesting to watch these first few laps to see if Johnny does have the momentum he needs.
Timothy Peters going to try to move by on the outside.
By the way, that was my spotlight driver, if y'all had asked me, the 17th.
Johnny Benson.
You like that number.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
A few spots. Benson again started up in the 8th spot. He's already back to 12th now.
I think he's okay. I think he's okay, though. He just, you get trapped down on the bottom like he did, you're going to lose a couple spots. He made a mistake last week. He's going to make darn sure he doesn't make one early in this race.
And that's typical Johnny Benson. He's going to fall back a little bit. He's going to get comfortable. That's a big thing about tonight. Get yourself comfortable. Get yourself in a position where you feel like you can't get any trouble if anything happens.
And look, he's already moving back forward. He got on the inside of Peters. The 09 truck of Travis Kvapil is going to hold up his momentum, though. but I like the way that truck's looking right now. He's down on the bottom. It looks like he's handling good. I believe he's got something for him tonight.
Yeah, I do too. I think that outside groove looks pretty good as well. But Johnny's made some good time on the inside, but he's going to try to have to fall in line now in front of that 8 of Chad McCumbee.
Michael, you've been on this racetrack. You know about the track. What's it like when you get that thing way up high against that wall? Is there a lot of grip up there?
There's a ton of grip up there, but it's a little rougher right out next to the wall than it is through the middle of the track or even a width off that wall. So you have to have your stuff under control. If you make that run to the high side, make sure you give yourself a little bit of extra room so when you hit those bumps and your truck wants to jump up to the right, which it will want to do, you've got room for it to do so.
Yeah, when they're riding on the bump stops the way they do, I mean, it doesn't take much to upset these things and get them to push the nose into the wall.
Johnny made a nice move to get around that 17 of Timothy Peters. Kevin Harvick, meanwhile, our leader, is just driving away right on the top of the racetrack.
Over a second lead right now, Kevin Harvick has over Mike Skinner. Again, mired back there a little bit further is that 23 of Johnny Benson. What's going on, Adam?
Trouble off forward.
Completely quiet on the radios. The situation for Johnny Benson. He's dropped back to 13th, and now we have our first caution of the night.
Yeah, it's Ryan Hackett that got turned around coming out of turn 4. And so that brings out the first caution of the night. Everybody take a deep breath. We've had a few laps of racing. You can all catch your breath now.
What, do you listen to the scanner of all these guys?
You sound like a spotter, Rick.
Yeah, the only other thing that Ron wants to know is, where's Johnny? Where's Johnny?
We had only completed 4 laps of racing. This one coming out on lap 5. The caution. Ron running 4th. Again, started in that 4th spot. Everyone's going to fall in line. Obviously, way too early to come onto pit road, but now at least they're going to find out where everyone is running on the racetrack. Again, Johnny Benson back there in the 12th spot. Kevin Harvick is leading. Rick Wren, well, he's going to take a deep breath too. Affordable ticket packages are still available to experience the thrill of NASCAR at Las Vegas Motor Speedway during the 2009 season. Experience the unique combination of racing action and entertainment that is only available at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. For more information, visit lvms.com or call 800-644-4444. Join us there at the Speed Stage in 2009 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We had a few people come on to pit road. Chris Devoto, what was going on?
Kyle Busch in the 51 did have to come down. Their splitter was dragging. Kyle not happy. They obviously have a very good truck, but the splitter was dragging. They had to take the opportunity when they could to get that fixed.
Johnny Benson started 8th tonight. Krista currently riding in the 11th position under caution. He said, in a perfect world, I'd like to tighten it up getting in and take away a little forward bite.
But 6 laps ain't a perfect world to do that.
No, and that ought to improve when the fuel burns off.
So
he's going to pick up a little nose weight.
He's saying, so I'll live with it for now. Kyle Busch couldn't live with that. Remember during qualifying, Rick, he went down in turn 3, and the thing got on the right front corner. It drugged the splitter, it rubbed the tire, and he pushed almost into the wall. They had to get in there and get that rectified. Watch for this truck to come through the field.
It also looked like he put some wedge in the truck as well while he was on pit road while he was racing the front end. They had ratchets flying down there.
What they probably did, if you raise the left front, you're going to take wedge out. So probably what they did is they took a round out of the right rear to offset the raising of the left front. So you know how a diagonal, you got to work on a diagonal.
Well, let's hope nobody gets diagonal again, like we had the 76 get a little bit cockeyed when he came out of turn 4.
Be ready. He's going to go slow. Be ready. Green flag, green flag.
Back to racing action. Green flag in the air. Kevin Harvick leads Mike Skinner, Ron Hornaday, Eric Darnell, and Dennis Setzer into turn 1.
Well, this will be interesting. You got Hornaday right up on Skinner and his teammate.
Watch his 51 truck, Mike.
He
was going to make it 4 wide there for a moment.
Well, he made it 3.5 wide.
Battle for the lead right now. Skinner moves to the inside of Harvick.
Here comes Harvick. Look at him charge back in turn 3, and now Skinner drifts up the track. Watch out. Here comes Hornaday.
Watch this. This is a ploy to get him 5 points. I guarantee you. Look at Harvick. He slows down. He's on the inside. The next time by, Hornaday can get those 5 points, but Skinner says, I'm taking you 3 wide.
Well, Skinner was the one that kept him from doing it.
And they showed on our monitor just moments ago that Hornaday was in front, but it wasn't. It was Kevin Harvick that stayed up front. So Hornaday still doesn't have those 5 bonus points.
He's fixing to get them, though.
That Chevrolet just a little too strong down that back straightaway. Man, he pulled Skinner a couple of car lengths going into 3.
And remember now, Skinner is Johnny Benson's teammate, so he has a reason to keep Hornaday back.
But remember last week when Hornaday was trying to lead the race to get 5 points and he got in trouble? Boy, don't let that happen tonight.
He just got it. The 5 bonus points just went to Ron Hornaday for leading a lap.
So the point lead, as they run now, which I hate, belongs to Ron Hornaday. He's 2 points ahead right this minute.
By 2.
Chris Kubota.
Well, trust me, guys, the entire 2 team very cognizant of those 5 points. Kevin Harvick had just gotten on the radio before that lap and said, we got to get him his 5. After Hornaday crossed the line first, the team got on the radio and said, he's got him. He's got his 5. All the crew guys in the 2 pit pumped their fists in the air. Adam?
And there may have been some anxious moments down there when they were racing Mike Skinner if they had known the pole sitter loose in the early part of this race. In fact, after he was battling for the lead a moment ago, as you were speaking, Krista, you saw him get sideways, and now he's fallen behind Colin Brown, dropping back to the back end of the top 5, Ray.
And Adam, Eric Darnell moves that number 99 up to 3rd, and he just talked with his crew chief just a moment ago on the radio. They asked him, how is your truck? He said it is absolutely perfect. So keep your eye on the Northern Tool Ford. He may be charging to the front.
You know, Adam was talking about how loose that 5 truck of Mike Skinner was when Hornaday was battling just a couple moments ago. Right after Hornaday was able to get by that 5 truck, Skinner had a handful. Watch him now. Eric Darnell pulls to the outside, just pulls the back of that truck right around.
Well, that was the thing that was scaring me about, you know, with Harvick and those guys up there trying to let him get those 5 points. They're 2 and 3 wide up there. That's, you know, these trucks get really loose. Watch this cat.
Watch Kyle Busch. He sees a hole. There's a hole there. Golly, what a job he did splitting those trucks.
Wide.
He passed 4 trucks within 100 yards.
And right now, Kevin Harvick, it looks as though was trying to hold off that 99 of Eric Darnell.
Well, right now at this point in the race, Hornaday's got those 5 points. He's leading the race, but that truck's not good. He's holding up Harvick. He's holding up Eric Darnell, but Harvick knows every lap that Ron leads, that's a chance for him to lead the most laps. So a patient race car driver is Kevin Harvick right now. He's sitting there watching his truck lead. He knows that truck isn't as good as he needs it to be. And if anybody's calling him on the radio, JB, Johnny Benson, is back inside the top 10 and is coming toward the front.
Well, I know Kevin Harvick is trying to help him and protect him, but I don't like when you get somebody that much up under me and that truck's not handling all that good anyway, man. I think it snapped loose.
But you can see right there on the left side of your screen, Harvick's riding around the outside. Darnell can't make any ground on the bottom with Harvick, and meanwhile, Ron's able to separate himself a little bit from those 2.
And we had seen on the right side of the screen Kyle Busch charging toward the front. Now it looks as though he's kind of plateauing a little bit in the position that he's in, just behind that 30 of Todd Bodine.
What did Kevin Harvick say in the pre-race show? Would you pull over and let Ron go by if it meant winning the championship? It is the last race.
It is the last race.
Well, this is setting up to be a good last race, too. Ron Hornaday just good enough to stay ahead of his teammate and run the lead, but Johnny Benson looks like he's got a strong truck back in the 8th spot.
There's only been 2 trucks that have been in front of this field. The 2 of Kevin Harvick and now the 33 of Ron Hornaday. 7 laps left for Hornaday, 9 laps left for Harvick. This Tuesday night, when it comes to the import tuner scene, we know what you want. You want Hot Import Night. A car show, a party, and a club all rolled into one. Catch an all-new episode of Hot Import Nights, Tuesday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Wow. Folks, it hasn't changed at all since we left you.
We've been able to eavesdrop a little bit on the team communications between Harvick, his spotter, Hornaday, and his spotter. Kevin's trying to help him not only by blocking, but he's telling Ron different lines that he might be able to try. He said, I went low into turn 3. I let off a little bit early, and I got more grip, Ron. Try that.
Yeah, Michael, it reminds me of the time I was spotting for you at Dover.
Well, folks, I think we want to listen in as far as what's going on with these teams to get a little closer listen and look at what's going on. Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, just following up on what Michael was saying there, Hornaday is always welcome for that much information, and he gets a lot of that from spotter Rick Corelli most of the time. But when your boss is right behind you, and that boss happens to be Kevin Harvick, that's some very valuable information. And you're right, guys, that's exactly what he told him on the entrance to 3. You can dive it in there and let off the gas a little bit better. I like the way you're arcing it in there, and that's a lot of information coming from the guy who's right behind you and the guy who happens to own your truck. Adam?
24 hours, a lot of things can change, and that's certainly the case for Johnny Benson. They were struggling this time last night to find the handle on this race truck. It's much better this evening riding 8th as Benson where he started, but he has said he has no grip on any corner of this truck, and he wants it fixed when they come in for a pit stop. Trent Bruce has been very calm on the radio. I would anticipate a chassis adjustment when they come down pit road.
Well, Adam, I know you're monitoring Johnny Benson. You've got Ray up there at front monitoring Ron Hornaday back here on the end of pit road to expand on what Ray was saying about Harvick and Hornaday. Harvick said, I'm starting to get a run in 3 and 4. He then passed that information along to his team. His team then told him, yes, we've passed that along to Rick Corelli. So like you said, not only is he finding lines for his championship driver, he is actually riding shotgun, if you will, albeit in another truck.
Guys, I'm telling you, there's a truck we need to think about right here. This 59 truck, this Team ASC Harris trucking truck of Terry Cook has really been on the move. He's moved all the way up into the top 5. You know, ASC is leaving the sport. A longtime sponsor, Mikey. They've announced that they will be leaving at the end of this season. So a last race for them, but a good one.
Well, and Phil, he's running in the 5th spot, but lap after lap, he's a couple of tenths faster than our leaders. He's the fastest truck on the whole track. And, you know, he went by Johnny Benson running up high. As you can see there, off turn 4, Terry Cook right out by the outside wall. I thought maybe Johnny would adjust his line a little bit and see if he could do what Terry did, but Johnny couldn't. He couldn't keep up with Terry, and Terry's driving to the front.
I talked to Jim Harris, and I said, Jim, you got that thing running? He said, chemistry. He said it's all chemistry. He said when Terry came over there, he just picked the whole team up, and that truck has run really great here in the last few races.
Well, very close call. Rick Crawford right there just a few moments ago got a little bit loose getting down in the corner, had to chase that truck up the hill, and fortunately Johnny was able to squeeze by before Rick needed that space.
And looking back at Rick Crawford from Johnny Benson's onboard, it's Ron Hornaday and Kevin Harvick. They've been able to pull away from the rest of the field by 2 seconds now. Eric Darnell running 3rd. He's almost 2 seconds back. Then it's Dennis Setzer. Terry Cook, we talked about him running faster laps, so he's catching those guys up front.
Ron Hornaday, his life is getting made so much easier right now by Kevin Harvick. He's got Harvick behind him. This is a big, fast racetrack. These trucks create a lot of drag. Harvick is helping push Hornaday down the straightaway, speed down the straightaway. Hornaday knows Harvick's not going to mess with him in the corner. He backs off of him and drives right back up on the back of him when they come down the straightaway. He's been able to push Hornaday away from the field so far.
And it looks like right now that Kevin Harvick, if he wanted to, he will drive by Ron Hornaday and drive away.
If he wanted to is exactly right.
And that's a great feeling to have your truck leading and running second and one that you know he can pass him if you wanted to.
But at the same time, Ron Hornaday is still running good laps because they have separated themselves from 3rd by over 2 seconds. So those two trucks are running extremely well together. We knew this was going to happen. Under the lights, the final race of the season. Ron Hornaday, Johnny Benson battling it out. The bright lights at Homestead Miami Speedway. We've been waiting all season to find out who will it be, who will be crowned the 2008 champion. Well, it's underway. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The pageantry all leading up to this, the final race of the 2008 season, right here at Homestead Miami Speedway. The fireworks have already begun. This holiday season, give the gift of speed. The Richard Petty Driving Experience has 2 great offers. For $49, you can give friends or family the thrill of a high-speed ride-along, or for $3.99, you can put them in the driver's seat for 8 exciting laps. Go to 1-800-BPetty.com for more information.
All right, guys, you know where the tension is starting to build now? On pit road. Because sooner or later, here before too long, we're going to have green flag pit stops if we keep going like this. And, man, you don't want to make a mistake on pit road.
Not only does the crew not want to make a mistake, but the driver's got to hit his marks, get on pit road properly, maintain the right speed. And then I think the most difficult part of a pit stop is once the stop itself is over, you leave pit road, you got to hammer down on that flat access road. I mean, that's a challenge to get all the speed that you want to get and not get loose down there. There's grass just on the other side of where you're running. You get in that grass, you'll crash your truck.
Well, the other thing is they have to come onto pit road by using an access road in 3 and 4, and there's no speed limit on that road, so you might be pushing it to try to not lose time when you get into that grass.
We see people in that grass all the time.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
There's Terry Cook, guys. He's moved up to the 4th position, trying to chase that 99 truck of Eric Darnell down for the 3rd position. Consistently runs the fastest laps on the racetrack.
Yeah, he's a tenth quicker just about every lap than our leaders are.
Adam Alexander, our pole sitter, has dropped back to 9th.
He has, and it's been a struggle in the early going, Rick. He has said on the radio, I am wrecking loose. Doug Richard, his crew chief, said, hang on to it. Now, while he is loose, he's going to the inside of Rick Crawford. Perhaps the truck will come to him as this long run continues, but it was just moments ago on the radio, Skinner was begging for a caution so he could get to pit road, Ray.
You know, I think it's a little weird, Adam. Whenever we practiced here yesterday, everybody was tight off the corner. That's what we heard up and down pit road. And on my end now, I'm hearing just about everybody loose. And that includes Ron Hornaday, just a little bit loose off. He says it's about a 3.5. Rick Wren will make an air pressure adjustment on the left rear tire when they pit the first time. Krista?
Not only does Ron Hornaday have Kevin Harvick helping him on the track, he has a cheerleader down here in the pits. Ryan Newman associated with his team as well. Remember, Ryan won for KHI in Atlanta. It was then Ron who won in Texas. Kevin said he had to drive the truck in Phoenix because he was getting jealous of these guys. Ryan, of course, sitting on a tire next to the owner, Delana Harvick.
Check this out. This is the 23 truck. He's losing a little bit of ground. Look, Daryl, his tape that's covering the back of his spoiler. There's a gap between 2 pieces of spoiler where the template goes. His tape's falling off. He's losing downforce because of that. You know, these trucks are tweaked out to the nth degree. That tape is supposed to be across that rear spoiler to help push it down. He's losing a little bit of downforce there. That's not good.
Yeah, it's like a leaky faucet. I mean, you know, the pressure's going out through that little crack.
Well, we're hearing caution, debris on the backstretch, so we'll slow down one more time. I'm guessing right now if you guys are breathing a little easier not having to make green flag pit stops.
This is a pretty good time caution right now. We've completed 40 laps. These guys can go maybe 55 to 60 once they put fuel in them. That means we can get in a window where everybody could make it on one more stop if we had to.
Well, we talked a little bit about some wear concerns.
Yeah.
You know, some of the tires had shown some cords after 20, 30 laps in practice. Now, of course, that wear gets better as more vehicles run around the track, but darn right, it's a perfect time for a caution for these guys.
All that sliding around that some of these guys are doing hard on that right rear.
So the field will stack up behind Randy Kaiser in the pace truck, and he will bring them.
Saw Trip Bruce for a moment trying to talk to Johnny, get the feedback from Johnny on what he may want to do to that truck.
But you know, the 2 truck with Kevin Harvick, I thought it was pretty interesting that he kept Ryan. We saw Ryan sitting down there. Didn't put him in the truck this weekend because he didn't want to put Ryan in the position that he's riding in tonight.
Right now.
Yeah,
it's
right
not
where he is tonight.
for the lead.
Because Ryan would have been leading the race.
Right, and running away.
He didn't want to do that like what happened at Atlanta.
Chris DeVota, here they come onto pit road.
Yes, indeed. Kevin Harvick making the call. He said he wants no changes. His truck is very good, just 4 tires and gas. He said the most important thing is to get the truck out the same position that it comes in at the very least. He said no tape to get off the grill. It's going to be just 4 tires and gas. Of course, Kevin Harvick, not just a driver, as we have documented, he is also the co-owner of that Ron Hornaday truck. So this is a very important stop to make sure he doesn't get anyone else in trouble. Here come the trucks, and the 2 of Kevin Harvick again will take 4 tires and gas. No chassis changes, no adjustments for the 2. Adam.
I'll go, Krista, because I want to talk about Hornaday. Now, as I said, they were adding air to the left rear tire, but Rick Wren at the last second said take half of that back out. So it'll be a pretty minor adjustment for this Camping World Chevrolet. Right side tires going on. They talked about it in the meeting today. Smooth and simple. Everybody do the job that you've done all year. It looks like a good stop so far. No hang-ups at all for Hornaday. He is down and away, back to the racetrack.
Center of your screen, Eric Darnell, 4 tires and fuel. He was free in and off. He gets 4 tires. And Johnny Benson, a bit of a struggle on the left rear. He pulls away, but Benson going to lose some spots as he exits the pit lane. He too gets 4 tires, fuel, and a chassis adjustment.
We saw the race off of pit road. Benson actually came out 8th, but there was a few drivers that jumped up a few spots and a couple others that dropped back a few spots. We'll shake it all out as far as where we will restart here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Our first pit stop by our championship contenders, pretty much unscathed. Welcome back to the Ford 200. We see some NASCAR officials talking to the 23 team. Adam Alexander, what's going on down there?
But Johnny Benson does not have tape on the middle part of his rear spoiler, and they wanted to make that, put that tape on under this pit stop. Didn't get it done, and NASCAR actually told Trip Bruce, the crew chief, he was going to have to come back down here, giving up a ton of track position and do it. Now, after they had the conversation, and now you see the replay of Johnny's pit stop, NASCAR said, I'm going to give you one more chance. So that means next time when they pit, they will have to get that tape on the rear spoiler. And there you see the NASCAR official signaling to the team that it needs to be done. And Trip Bruce just met with his guys, making sure they understand what they're going to do. A tough situation for them, and that will add some anxiety the next time they have to pit. But here's what's interesting. When Trip Bruce originally told Johnny Benson, you've got to come back down pit road so we can add the tape, Benson came back and said, you're kidding, right? No laughing matter in this pit area, I can guarantee you.
You know, and we saw the crew member put a wedge wrench on the back of that truck. That adjustment never got made. So Trip Bruce said, we got to have a better plan next time, guys. We got to get the adjustments made. So they didn't get done to that truck what they had hoped to with that wedge wrench that went on the back of the truck.
Be ready. Be ready. Green flag, green flag.
Problem free for Ron Hornaday. He was able to get on pit road in front and get off pit road with the lead. So he continues to lead here at Homestead Miami.
I don't believe that piece of tape being off is a disadvantage, not an advantage.
Yeah,
so,
and if I didn't get my adjustments made, Darrell, I believe I'd come down and I'd put that tape on and I'd make my adjustments because it's early in the race. You can do that. Now, this thing goes green for a while. You don't get the perfect chance to get that tape put on. It's going to hurt you later. I believe I'd have went down right now and tried to rally back.
Yeah, when you're trying to keep up with that 33 truck, you can't give up that much track position. That may have worked, but I'd be scared to be back in the back looking at this.
Exactly. I don't think I want to be behind 30 trucks right now at this point in the race.
Not right now.
It's worked out okay for Kyle Busch. You can see him. He's driven up to the 4th spot, cutting down to the low side, trying to get 3rd for Terry Cook.
But he's not trying to win a championship. He's just trying to win a race.
Wait, now Eric Darnell doesn't understand what Kevin Harvick's plan is right now.
They had the perfect scenario for the first 41 laps. They were just out there cruising, but they've got people all over them now.
Now Kevin Harvick goes over for the lead. He gets in front of his teammate, and here comes Kyle Busch. Slid right in front of the 33. He takes 2nd.
Most of these parties that you're having between you and your teammates, they don't last.
I'll tell you something's wrong with that 33 right now. He was really slow entering the corner.
Very loose there.
I think his truck is really, really uneasy getting in the corner.
Well, you know what happens, and it happens all the time, Michael, and you know this. You say you're a teeny bit loose or you're a teeny bit tight, and they over-adjust it.
So maybe an over-adjustment for 33.
Gets a little sideways there.
He's in trouble right here.
Wait till he looks in his mirror. Guess who's just a couple of trucks back? Here comes Johnny Benson to round Mike Skinner.
Johnny Benson again coming into this race with a 3-point lead. Ron Hornaday got out front, led laps, got 5 extra bonus points. So now we've got a very tight battle continuing here on the racetrack, Ray.
And guys, what's amazing to me, we talk about these adjustments. That adjustment for the left rear when they went to change air pressure was only 1.5 pounds. And then Rick Wren said take half of that back out. So we're talking about really just maybe 1 pound of air pressure change made that much difference to Hornaday's truck. That's amazing.
Well, you know it is, Ray. And I hear it all the time, and I say there isn't any way. But, Michael, you drive these things. You felt it. I can't imagine that a half-pound, 1 pound of air would change your truck or car that much.
A lot of times if your truck is okay and you might tend to think you're going to get a little tight, 2 or 3 tenths of a pound of air pressure is enough adjustment to address it. Right now, Ron took off. He wasn't great when the race started. Remember, people were all over him. Kevin got behind him, pushed him out a little bit. He got some fresh air, clean air, and he was able to maintain. Right now, he's in a mess. He's got Terry Cook all over the back of him.
I think he's struggling right now. He's running 4th, but I don't think his truck is nearly as good as it was before.
And Ron Hornaday is not a guy that you want to get in a panic situation, in my mind. I mean, he's hyper. And, you know, you start putting the pressure to him, and he can make a mistake. Unlike Johnny, who I usually think is calm and cool, and is usually got everything under control.
Yeah, until last week, that pretty much went out the window. Terry Cook looking to the outside now, that 33. Let's see if he keeps the momentum up and is able to get by Ron.
Looks like Ron's weathered the storm pretty good, guys, though. He's riding along in the 4th spot. He's got a gap. He's got Terry Cook right on him, but they got a gap behind him, so I think he's going to be okay now. The most tense time when your truck is loose is when they're having a restart. You got other trucks all over you.
And he's running good laps right now. He's running laps comparable to what Harvick is running leading.
I just worry about, is he comfortable? Because if you got trucks all around you, you're a little uncomfortable. This track is so fast, that thing will jump sideways and hello.
Wall. And again, remember, Johnny Benson, who came onto pit road moments ago under the caution like everyone else, they were supposed to put tape on the back of that truck. They did not. So NASCAR is going to be watching them the next time they come onto pit road. And look at this battle between these two Cup drivers. They are locking it up front. Adam Alexander, what's going on with Johnny?
Now look at Trip Bruce, the crew chief. He right now is explaining to the guys how he wants this plan executed. He went over himself and prepared the tape to put it on the rear spoiler. Now NASCAR continues to have conversations with Trip Bruce. Not sure exactly what they're saying to him now, but Trip has really done an aggressive job of getting involved to make sure they're doing what they need to satisfy NASCAR. Krista?
Well, we've been talking a little bit about the 59 of Terry Cook, and remember at the start of this race I said how important this race was for Terry Cook. He wants to give something back to Team ASE, the long-running sponsor here in the Truck Series, going for a win, if not a top 5. On the last stop, they took 4 or 5 tires, fuel, no adjustments. Terry said, and I quote, Danny, referring to Danny Rollins, do not touch this truck.
That's a good message to send your crew chief.
And I'm sure you noticed, but we had a lead change.
Yes, we did.
And this is back to front, you know.
Oh yeah. Kyle Busch, who came in early on that very first caution and lifted the hood and made an adjustment, was able to get by now Kevin Harvick. So all the way from the back to the front, Kyle Busch now leading at Homestead, Miami. So Kyle Busch will try to add to his laps led while Kevin Harvick watches him up in front and worries about what's going on with his truck just behind him. Welcome back to the Ford 200. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Kyle Busch out in front, but he has to hold off that number 2 of Kevin Harvick. Let's drop back through our top 10. Krista Boda.
Beginning with Kyle Busch, and remember, as Ron Hornaday and Johnny Benson fight for this Drivers' Championship, the 51 is still mathematically eligible for the Owners' Championship. Kyle Busch very happy with his truck right now, as is the number 2 of Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick coming on the radio saying he had a good corner, was starting to pull away before Kyle Busch passed him, but Kevin Harvick is holding his ground. Adam.
Eric Darnell was freed prior to that first pit stop. He came in, 4 tires, fuel, chassis adjustment. He has been quiet ever since. That is a good sign. Darnell currently riding 3rd. Krista?
Terry Cook having a very good run. Remember, he said he did not want any changes to his race truck on that last stop. Terry Cook trying to give Team ASE and the organization their 109th top 5. Terry Cook is going for broke in this race.
You know, it's interesting, Krista, when we look back in 5th position, there's Hornaday, and he had not led the last 3 times that we have been to Homestead, but he has led laps tonight, and that's very important for those 5 extra bonus points, and we're almost to the magic number. When we get to lap 62, or we're at 62, when we get to 68, it will be impossible mathematically for Johnny Benson to lead the most laps in this race, and I promise you, everybody in Hornaday's pits is well aware of the bonus points. Krista?
Ray, I have no idea how you did the math that fast, but I can do the math on Travis Kvapil on their last stop on flap 42. 4 tires going down 4 rounds on the track bar, saying that truck was quite free.
And Johnny Benson riding 7th right now, Krista, and he says the truck is better, but still a bit tight off. They look for more adjustments on their next pit stop, and of course this one going to be the money stop for these guys because they've got to put that tape on the rear spoiler. Krista?
Brian Scott, the young rookie, having a very good run, coming off a 4th place last week at Phoenix. He is 2nd in rookie standings behind Colin Brown, but has outpaced Brown since Loudon, averaging a 9th place finish since that race. Brian Scott looking very good here in Homestead. Ray?
Krista, as we look back through the field, we'll go next to Dennis Setzer, driving for Bobby Hamilton Racing. Dennis Setzer, at this very moment, does not have a ride for 2009. That's almost hard to believe, and I think it's about a 70% chance that Bobby Hamilton Racing will not return. We'll know more in the final weeks as we take a look at the season end, but Dennis Setzer right now currently unemployed for 2009. That's hard to believe. Krista?
And the word on the radio just moments ago for Timothy Peters. Buddy, you are doing a great job. Talk about the Cinderella story. We have documented this season how Timothy Peters is the underfunded team. Right now, Timothy Peters having a very good night running in 10. Adam.
And an unfortunate scene on pit road. Rick Crawford coming down the pit lane. He was running in 10th a moment ago. That after starting 17th earlier tonight. A one-time winner here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Having problems under the hood. They asked him, is it dead? He said no, but it doesn't sound good. And there's a lot of smoke in here. And as you can see, the crew is working very hard. And now Rick just said on the radio, the official has given him word there is something leaking underneath the truck.
Meanwhile, Ron Hornaday has taken over the 4th spot back from Terry Cook. There's Johnny in a good battle with the 16 of Brian Scott. Remember, that's a teammate. Brian trying to get by Johnny for that 7th position. Coming off a great run last week at Phoenix, Brian Scott.
And Brian's really faster than Johnny right now, Phil. He caught him about a half a straightaway the last couple of laps. I don't know what will happen now that he's gotten there. He's definitely going to be careful when he's racing around Johnny Benson, huh?
Probably a little rivalry there, when you say, and when their crew chief changed there with those two guys.
There's Timothy Peters.
Yeah, I just wanted to say about Timothy Peters in that 17 truck. My experience, man, you put 17 on a dump truck, it'll run good.
And it's a Toyota for Timothy Peters. First time ever in a Toyota for him.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. I remember him at Martinsville, and he can drive, man.
Had a top 10 finish at Martinsville just a few weeks ago.
Kyle Busch, running that number 51, has a 1.3 second lead over second place Kevin Harvick. Then it's Eric Darnell, Ron Hornaday, and Terry Cook. They are your top 5 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. It has been Kevin Harvick Incorporated. First Kevin, then Ron Hornaday out front. Now Kevin Harvick chasing Kyle Busch here in the final race of the 2008 season. Beginning November 17th, start casting your vote for the Speed Performance Awards, including Best Hit, Best Finish, and Speed Performer of the Year. Log on to speedperformanceawards.com and vote on all the categories. The Speed Performance Awards voting begins November 17th.
Guys, you remember just a few moments ago, maybe right before we went to commercial, Kyle Busch had about a second-half lead. Well, now he has a 3.3 second lead, and right now Eric Darnell may be losing third to Ron Hornaday.
Ron Hornaday side by side with Eric Darnell. It looks as though Hornaday is going to get the advantage on the inside.
When you look at lap times, Hornaday and Busch are running identical lap times. There are only 2 trucks in the 33-second bracket. They're 33.9, but everybody else is 34 and above.
And Hornaday ran that time while he was passing Eric Darnell. He still ran below 34 flat.
And sometimes those adjustments that you don't like at the beginning of a run start to really pay off at the end of the run. And so maybe they made that air pressure change and it helped the truck over the long haul. And it appears we're going to have a lot of green flag racing tonight.
Yeah, so far only 2 cautions. Again, the first one coming out on lap 5, then this most recent one on 41 just for debris. But it's been a pretty calm race as far as we haven't seen a lot of side-by-side and bumping on the racetrack up to this point.
Talking about this guy here trying to lead the most laps and run off win a race. Watch just a minute ago. 2 or 3 trucks up ahead of him, all mixing it up. He just dives right between them. That looks a whole lot like it did when he was cutting his way through the field after he'd stopped on lap 6. Yeah. Check him getting out the lead here again around the outside of Harvick. Harvick gets a little bit loose off turn 4. Kyle Busch had a lot of momentum. He trusted that Kevin Harvick would get that truck under control and just drove around the outside of him.
Well, I remember a guy that was known for being really aggressive and you didn't want to get in his way, and people would always seem to pull over when he got behind them.
Was it a black car?
It was a black car. The worst thing you can do is pass Earnhardt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, because then you know, why did I do that? Now you're going to worry me to death.
Check out Johnny Benson. Got Timothy Peters and Dennis Setzer both trying to get around Johnny. That truck's not right now.
Now, for numerous laps, he was battling with his teammate, Brian
Same
Scott.
as before, loose end, tight to center.
The same as before.
I know y'all don't agree, but I believe on that last caution flag, I would have made my adjustments, put my tape on my spoiler, and tried to adjust that truck. It wasn't good then. It isn't good now. Now we're getting down into the last third of the race. If they have to spend any extra time on pit road, it'll be really tough to make it all up. Kyle Busch went to pit road on lap 6, and he drove to the lead. Well, Johnny doesn't have that much time anymore.
You know when I'll agree with you? When the race is over with. If he doesn't get back up there.
Adam Alexander.
And the word for Johnny Benson, loose end, tight center. And Michael, they actually said the truck better in the early part of this run, but as it has continued, it has gone away. You saw a moment ago Brian Scott get around, and now Timothy Peters and Dennis Setzer digging in, looking for some as well. Krista?
Scott's speed actually was a little bit of a prognosticator. I talked to him before qualifying. He said, my truck will be very good in qualifying, and he was right. He started 7th. He said, it will not be that great for the race, and so far it has not been. They're free in, tight off. How did he know? He said it was the exact same condition as earlier in the year at Texas.
See, Johnny Benson lost another spot to that 18 of Dennis Setzer. Dennis moves up to the 8th spot, moves Johnny back to 9th.
Well, you know what? When you say your truck goes off, it doesn't just slowly go off. Michael, I think you know this. I mean, you go in the first turn, everything's fine. You go in the third turn, you're about wrecked. And it just happens that quickly. And it's got to be the rubber on the tires just gets down to the point where they're not gripping anymore, or maybe another little bit of air pressure. But it's like somebody flips a switch, and you can't do anything about it.
One of the other things that is going to come into play, another factor, is that Kyle Busch is setting such a blistering pace right now. He is beginning to lap numerous trucks each lap. And so the 24th truck of Kevin Wood is the highest scored non-lead lap truck. J.R. Fitzpatrick is about to go a lap down. He's running 23rd. We've got about 10 trucks that are going to be lap down trucks. If we do get a caution, they start on the inside, and now we've got doubled up, and that means more trucks that Johnny Benson's going to have to work through to get up front.
Yeah, if Johnny just stands pat and comes out in 9th or 10th or whatever, then he's really technically restarting about 18th or 20th.
Exactly. So that is going to be another factor that we have got to keep our eyes on as this race continues to progress. 82 laps in the books, and it has been all Kyle Busch. Kevin Harvick's giving chase. Ron Hornaday looks like he is in perfect position for a championship. Weekend for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. The stars are under the lights here at Homestead Miami Speedway, and all eyes are on our championship battle between the two, Ron Hornaday and Johnny Benson. Who will hold the cup up at the end of the night? Well, we're going to find out. Start your race weekend every Friday afternoon by listening to Speed Radio's Weekend Preview with Rob D'Amico. Get the latest news and information on all the weekend's racing events from Rob and some of your favorite speed personalities. Log on to speedtv.com to stream or download the show to your iPod every Friday afternoon.
Guys, there's Terry Cook. He took over the 4th spot from Eric Darnell just this last lap. Terry's on the march towards the front again.
This truck likes the longer runs.
It does. It gets really good. Never falls off much.
Battle for 4th, Terry Cook and Eric Darnell.
Terry's really making that high line work, too. He went up there really early. Has been making some good time up there.
It's good to see Terry Cook run good. You know, he's such a nice man, and he hasn't had a lot of success lately. Had some early on, but, boy, it's good to see him run good. And also for Jim Harris. Jim's a longtime supporter of the Truck Series.
One of the nicest guys in the garage here.
Yes, sir.
Let's look a little deeper into our field. Ray Dunlap, who have you got?
Well, we'll start out with Todd Bodine. We were going to go at 11th, but he just moved forward a little bit, so let's start at 10th. That's where Todd is. Now, he was really, really loose at the beginning of a run, but as it goes on, he starts to get a tiny bit of a push in turns 3 and 4. They'll try to work on that in the next pit stop. Krista?
Well, we've got a caution on the racetrack, Krista, before you jump in. It sounds like it's debris on the racetrack, so this will be the 3rd time that we have slowed this pace down because of a caution. Now remember, Johnny Benson will have to come onto pit road and put tape on that rear spoiler, and we're expecting another adjustment to be made to that truck.
Yeah, that tape is not going to take any time, though. You can see the debris on the racetrack. Probably the catch can man more than likely will try to put that tape on that spoiler, so I don't think that's going to take any extra time. But now the adjustment could take a little extra time depending on who does it.
And I will tell you, they had a plan for that catch can man to put that tape on last time. He struggled. And you know, tape, I'm going to say something that's blatantly obvious. Tape is sticky. And sometimes it gets stuck together, and a good plan goes bad. So
You know,
They give us a guy
Michael
and
just
get the
thinks of
window
things
up
that I
now. Don't worry
never
about
think
it.
of.
I tell you what, he's got a point though, because you're running around. There's a lot of pressure. There's a championship on the line, and now we're talking about one piece of tape.
Hey, this may be a championship pit stop coming right here.
It could very well be. And hey, Mikey, you know that commercial you and Ron Capps do, where he's there about 10 or 12, 15 seconds. He says, "I'm tired. I'm run out. Can't do this any longer."
You're looking like you're getting a little peaked.
Well, I just wanted you to know I've done it. I don't think I can do this much longer.
You were really
I'm out of practice, man.
You were really up at the start.
I'm out of practice.
It goes so fast, doesn't it?
It does. That's what the turtle said to the snail.
These truck races move along so quickly. Again, this one only a 134 lap race. We've already completed 90 laps. We're on lap 91. So we're closing in on these final laps of the race.
Let's say, these guys are going to make a pit stop, obviously. Ron Hornaday, after the last pit stop, was in trouble. He was sideways. He had trucks all over him. So this is some tense time for our championship leader at this point in the race.
Well, he's going to be in more trouble because he's got a lot of lap trucks down there he's going to have to deal with this time, unless he beats everybody off pit road.
And we would expect this is it. We won't see anybody else on pit road for the remainder of this race. I mean, they can make it on fuel. Their tires should be able to last for the final 40-plus laps that they have to go.
But they lose a second over 10, 20 laps.
But are they going to have any extra tires left? Well, that's the key. They probably had 4 sets of tires. They probably will have one more set.
I think
they probably have 4 sets to start this race. They've already put one on. They're going to put their second one on. They should have one more in the pits.
A very critical stop, Krista.
Kyle Busch is in. He said the last 8 to 10 laps he was starting to feel the tire wear. They were not planning on making any chassis adjustments. It's a 4-tire stop for the 51. Meanwhile, the 2 of Kevin Harvick, he said his right front was starting to get a little loose, but no changes other than air pressure expected on that truck. Ray.
Hornaday's in the middle of your screen. They were going to put on 4-lap scuffs here, but Rick Rand made an audible at the very last second. This will be sticker tires. They think this will be the last round of pit stops. 4 tires going on the Camping World Chevy to Adam.
It's going to be right side tires only for Johnny Benson. They got the tape on the spoiler. That done by rear carrier Curtis Martin. And JB, the first off of pit road. A big-time pit call gets the point leader entering the lead late in the race here at Homestead.
Hey, Trip Bruce said I have to do something. I mean, we're back here running 10th. Now he's got Johnny up in the lead, more than likely, unless somebody stayed on the racetrack, which I don't think they would. So he's going to get the 5 points. That's going to be a push now with Ron Hornaday.
How big of a call was that move right there by Trip Bruce?
You got to do what you got to do, man, and sometimes you got to pull it off in the pits, not just out on the track.
Our Aaron's lucky dog, the 71 of J.R. Fitzpatrick, he will get his lap back.
You know what else I like about this, Phil? If it doesn't work and we run 20 laps or so and they got another set of 4 tires in
He's
the
coming
pit,
back in.
He'll come back in and just switch it up again. I love that.
DW, we appreciate you joining us up here. Take a breath, sit back, relax, enjoy the rest of the race.
Listen, guys, take them home. Take them to the checkered flag.
Well, we
Been
appreciate
fun.
you helping us out with the setup.
Fun.
And also,
Love you
we
guys.
appreciate you up here in the booth with us. We'll be right back. The final 40-plus laps here in Homestead. Welcome back. How about down to the wire? Starts for Benson and Hornaday. You see the comparison from Miami. 10.2, the average finish for Johnny Benson. Ron Hornaday, 6.5. Take a look at this pit stop by Johnny Benson's crew.
Remember Trip Bruce getting his guys together and choreographing this stop? Watch it pay off. Not only do they get right side tires, tell, are those scuffs?
They look like stickers to me, but I'm not positive. But watch the back of this truck now. You see, you get a tear off.
And he raises his hand. I got it.
I got it. I got the Barabana on there.
And they get out first, which means Johnny Benson has led a lap. And guess what, folks? Now it comes down to racing on the racetrack.
He had the backing on that tape all the way when he got ready to put it on the spoiler. He didn't want to make a look at Kevin slow down to let his truck out.
Yeah, he basically stopped to let Ron Hornaday get out in front of him.
Adam Alexander.
And guys, it was interesting in talking to Trip Bruce about the strategy move. He had gone around, congratulated all the guys that went over the wall. I went over, visited him about the call to go for 2 tires, and he said, we have to congratulate these guys because if we hadn't got the lead, it wouldn't have been worth it. They feel very good about where they are now, and I think they were in a position where they felt like if we don't make a move on pit road, we may not have a chance to win the title.
40 laps of racing remain here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Green flag back in the air. Johnny Benson just in front of Ron Hornaday. We know how good Ron Hornaday is on restarts.
What a great picture that is, huh, Phil? Our championship contenders, less than 40 to go, right at 40 to go, running 1 and 2, and both of them have won the race.
How about that now? I thought maybe Ron Hornaday would just blow by Johnny on that start, especially getting through that corner. Here comes Kyle Busch trying to make his way back to the front, getting by the 09 of Travis Kvapil.
Race for the lead, though. Ron Hornaday tried to duck underneath that 23 of Johnny Benson.
We know Ron's a little bit loose here, or at least he was on that last restart, and that makes it hard to make a move down on the bottom of the track. He couldn't clear Johnny. I'm like you, Phil. I thought he would have already been done with Johnny.
Johnny Benson looking to win his first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series championship. But he's got to hold up that 33 of Ron Hornaday. Side by side. Down the back stretch they go. Oh, a little bumping there. It looked as though Hornaday moved up and hit the 23.
Two inside.
The 2 truck of Kevin Harvick gave his teammate gave his truck a big push.
Still there.
Was able to get Ron in front of Johnny going down the back straightaway. Johnny decides he's going to crowd in there, make it 3 wide.
Take a look at this. 3 wide as they go across the start-finish line. Kevin Harvick on the inside. Johnny Benson. Here comes Kyle Busch to the outside. Busch is going to try to take the lead. Johnny Benson shoots to the front, and now Kyle Busch runs second.
How about this championship? How about
Way to
this
hang,
race?
buddy. Way to hang.
Wow.
51's coming.
Kyle Busch shot at
51's by himself now, right with you.
Here comes Hornaday fighting back down on the bottom.
Look at Johnny Benson, though. Johnny Benson looking strong in front of this field now.
I like how aggressive Johnny was right there. He said, you're not going to push me out of the way like that. I'm coming back on you.
And remember, only 2 tires now. Hornaday had 4.
Right side tires only for Johnny Benson, and he's been able to run this well at the restart of this race.
Look at Kyle Busch down there running Ron Hornaday's line. Almost looked like he's blocking for Johnny Benson.
Kyle Busch to the outside. Ron Hornaday comes to the inside, trying to take second away.
I don't know who's on whose team out there. I just know Johnny Benson knows he's got to lead this race. He's got to win this race if he wants to win this championship.
I really think Hornaday's truck is coming around. Remember last time?
Tire out of balance, but it'll be all right.
Johnny saying, I've got a tire out of balance, but it'll be all right. How nonchalant was that little message?
Well, it looks like it's going to be all right. It's all right so far.
Running great laps right now. Johnny Benson in front of
51's
Kyle Busch.
trying to help us. Just hit your marks, bud. Hit your marks.
Did you hear that? The 51's trying to help us.
Well, that makes it 2-2 now, so that's fair.
Here comes Harvick, by the way, on the inside.
And how about the 16? Brian Scott's going to throw the nose of that truck up there as well.
And here comes Terry Cook. He's in 6th right behind Brian Scott.
You know, I love listening to Brian Scott yesterday in an interview. He said, I'm just trying to suck this all in. I mean, my truck's fast. I'm running up there with the big dogs. I want to live this life a little bit.
How about the big dogs right now? 3 wide as they work their way through 1 and 2 and down the backstretch.
What just happened?
Kyle Busch just moved out in front of Johnny Benson. Here comes Hornaday now.
It looked like Hornaday got high coming off the corner and about squeezed Johnny into the wall.
Remember, right now,
outside, still there.
Ron Hornaday wins the championship.
On your bumper, pushing it inside.
And oh, by the way, Johnny
inside.
Benson gets out front. He wins the championship.
And oh, by the way, Johnny Benson knows that whoever finishes in front wins the championship.
34 laps remaining, and they are switching positions almost every straightaway.
What a game changer that pit stop was.
Huge.
We didn't even think Johnny Benson was going to be a part of this story at all.
Here comes Hornaday again, looking to the inside. Johnny Benson holding on to second.
Here comes Terry Cook on the outside. Both Terry Cook and Brian Scott are driven by Kevin Harvick.
Kyle Busch is leading, but, well, just for now, Johnny Benson right behind him. Hornaday is in there. Now Hornaday looking to try to take second away from Johnny Benson.
I knew this championship was going to go down to the last lap, but I didn't realize these guys are going to run side by side the last third of this race.
Look at Hornaday. Can he crowd in? No. Johnny was able to close the door. Ron couldn't get up high. And here comes Terry Cook on the outside. And I promise you, Terry Cook doesn't care who wins this championship right now. He wants to get Jim Harris, ASC, and Victory Lane. And he's got a truck he can do it with.
Absolutely.
Guys, let me ask you. Right now, we've got Kyle Busch out in front. We've got Johnny Benson in a Toyota. We've got Terry Cook in a Toyota. We've got Brian Scott in a Toyota. Will the Toyotas work together to win this championship for Johnny?
Well, it looked like Kyle Busch was trying to help Johnny earlier, but then he took the lead. Now Ron Hornaday is able to clear Johnny. Let's see if Johnny can fight back at the inside. It looks like Hornaday had enough momentum. It's not going to allow Johnny to come back on the inside.
He's looking for a push from his teammate. Can his teammate push him up beside Hornaday?
Boy, Kevin Harvick dives to the inside of Terry Cook. Would he dearly love to get up there behind that 33 truck?
Johnny's driving with his heart right now, Phil. He's giving that truck all he's got. He put it in positions. We don't usually see Johnny put one in, but he knows it's now or never.
Speaking of hearts, mine is beating even faster now as we have just 31 laps to go. They continue to swap spots on the racetrack. Ron Hornaday now in front of Benson. Ron Hornaday would be our champion.
You know, the longer they run, the 4 tires on that 33 truck should really prevail over those 2 tires on Johnny's truck.
Does Johnny Benson need another caution to win this race?
I don't know. I think he's pretty much going to have to play with these cards he's been dealt right now. Or if there's 10 or 15 to go and he can't get to Ron and there's a caution, I think Trip Bruce will bring him to pit road.
I do too.
And say, look, we're gonna do something different again.
Going to gamble.
And then will Hornaday stay out with 10 or 15 laps to go?
Those fresher tires, will they play a big role in this championship and in this race? It's Kyle Busch that's out in front of Ron Hornaday, then Johnny Benson running third, Brian Scott is fourth, Kevin Harvick in the 5th spot. Look at Kevin Harvick trying to make the move on Brian Scott, Krista.
And down here in the 2 pit, we've got quite a tension builder. We saw at the start of the show the space shuttle going off. Well, Kevin right now is driving a rocket ship. That's what the truck is named. It was rebuilt after Las Vegas. Right now, Delana Harvick, she's a wife. She's an owner. She's a nervous wreck. She has been pacing and wearing out the pavement down here. Talked to Kevin before the race. He was joking. He said, I told Ron there's got to be a lot easier way to do this. But Kevin didn't want to be anywhere else but right out there with him.
Here's a little tidbit of information I'm sure Delana would love to hear. The points lead has changed 6 times in this green flag run only. 6 times they've gone back and forth for the points lead.
Well, Johnny Benson got all the good out of those right side tires. I believe that he's going to get right now. He's beginning to fade. Brian Scott got around him. You can see now there's 2 trucks trying to drive below him out off turn 2 alone. So the question you ask, does Johnny Benson need a caution to win this race? Yes. And will they pit if it comes out? I think so.
And the last 2 or 3 laps has shown that he needs a caution flag.
What a great call. I love what I saw there.
What a catch right there. Terry Cook has to slow it down, and Todd Bodine had to avoid. Take a look at the speeds as they cross the start-finish line.
Hornaday was a little bit off. Ron Hornaday has been as fast or faster than Kyle Busch the last 2 or 3 laps. That lap he was a little bit off what Kyle ran.
The fastest truck, a guy that's on the move, is that number 16 truck of Brian Scott. He's closing in on the back of Hornaday. He's flying right now.
Ray Dunlap, what are you learning on pit road?
Well, we know that Ron Hornaday's truck is a lot tighter than it was before. Rick Wren just came on and said, turn off your left front blower. That will change the air temperature on that left front tire, trying to get that thing adjusted for Hornaday. He's way too tight on his entry.
Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick is battling the 23 of Johnny Benson. Kevin has given Johnny plenty of room thus far, and looks like he's going to be able to clear him off of 2.
Yeah, Johnny should just hook onto the back bumper of Kevin Harvick and see if he'll continue to go, but it doesn't look like Kevin. Obviously, Kevin doesn't want Johnny to keep the momentum up. Well, reel in that truck in front of him.
Johnny's in trouble. That truck's starting to fade. Todd's trying to drive up on the outside. Johnny's going to hold him off, it looks like, off 2. Actually makes a little ground on Kevin. Can he get beside him? No, he's going to fall back behind.
Using a little bit of that arrow. Getting a draft. And take a look at this. Brian Scott going right by Ron Hornaday for 2nd.
I think that was a situation where Ron Hornaday knows what he's chasing in the big picture. He said, hey, he caught me. Let's let him go.
71, a lap down truck. Look at Ron Hornaday duck into the inside of Brian Scott. Krista.
Brian Scott has been on a tear. Remember, they have crew chief Jeff Hensley joining this team since Las Vegas for the last 5 races. The team has said it was like a light switch went off automatically. Jeff Hensley saying, we can win with this kid. Things happen for a reason, and circumstances put us together. This kid, Brian Scott, is the real deal.
Remember, just a week ago, Brian Scott had his career best finish of 4th at Phoenix when everything was going crazy.
I don't think it's calmed down any, Rick.
We haven't.
We had a little bit of a chance to breathe early on, but darn, the middle of this race has been incredible.
Well, that big gamble by Trip Bruce, this last caution to do it just right side tires for Johnny Benson, put that tape on the spoiler and then send him back out in the lead. Well, it got him 5 bonus points, but now it might be detrimental to this championship.
Well, I don't know that it didn't work because Johnny was not any better prior to that caution flag.
This is the best he's been, and he got 5 points out of the deal. I mean, I love what Trip Bruce did. I love the way Johnny Benson's driven this truck. He's driving with his heart. He's giving it all he's got.
Todd Bodine is running it as high as he has this entire race, trying to battle Johnny for the 5th position right now.
And Johnny Benson trying to hold on to that 5th spot. The 30 of Todd Bodine trying to take it away, right?
And how about Todd Bodine? They qualified 18th, and he's been running through the field. On the last pit stop, they came in 10th. His crew picked him up 2 spots, went out 8th. They dropped the track bar for Todd Bodine there a little bit to try to tighten him up. He was really, really loose through the center. And guys, they did see a little bit of cords on the right front of that Lumber Liquidators Toyota on the last pit stop.
You remember what the 51 team, Richie Waters and those guys, bought of fresh tires at Atlanta just a few weeks ago. They didn't even put their good tires on when they had a chance to late in the race because they wanted to save a set for the end run. If these tires are starting to wear out a little bit and cord on that right front, if there's a caution with 10 to go and I get me 4 fresh tires, I can make some ground.
Remember, he did it again at Phoenix in about 2 more laps. Kevin Harvick, our winner, said he would have got me in about 2 more laps.
Now, the key to that would be 10 to go when you don't have the lap down cars on the inside.
I'll take 10 would be perfect. I'll take 12 or 13 if you'll give them to me.
Yeah, give me 4 tires. It doesn't matter how many laps of trucks we got.
4 fresh tires that could be critical for the 23 if he wants to win this championship. Kyle Busch leading at Homestead. Welcome back. Kyle Busch still holding on to the lead here at the Ford 200 at Homestead Miami Speedway, Homestead, Florida. The final event of the 2008 season. A champion will be crowned at the end of this race. Who will it be? Ron Hornaday right now running in the 3rd spot. Johnny Benson in 6th.
Unfortunately, Johnny Benson right now is 5 seconds behind Hornaday. Here's our battle for 2nd. Brian Scott, that Albertsons Toyota has it. Ron Hornaday, I think, content just to ride behind that 16 of Brian Scott.
Everything's good in Ron's world right at the moment. He had to deal with Johnny Benson for a while, got that behind him. Now he's got a solid truck. He and Brian Scott are actually running lap times comparable to what Kyle Busch is running out in the lead. But I think you're right, Phil. If he could get around Brian, he would take advantage of it, but he's not going to give him the extra effort to do so.
One of these staying to the bottom of the racetrack.
Might like to see if he didn't plan on passing him, maybe just give him a little space.
I mean, the worst thing for Ron Hornaday right now is to get up so close to Brian Scott, he would get him loose.
Right.
I mean, he could get caught up in something if he put Brian in a compromising position.
He doesn't really need to be aggravating Brian, but that last time by, Phil, Kyle Busch ran 33.81 seconds. 2nd and 3rd ran 33.83 seconds. That's how tight, that's how close these guys are running.
What an impressive job, though, that Brian Scott has done here the last few weeks.
Spectacular. Albertsons Toyota Tundra. Jeff Hensley coming on board, calling the shots there for that team.
Look at these different lines. Ron Hornaday at the bottom, Brian all the way up to the top.
And they both work.
They're running exactly the same time.
Now, is there a cautious line around this racetrack? I mean, could Ron Hornaday be running the cautious line?
I would say he is. It's easier to run around the bottom if you can keep up down there. Obviously, when you run out next to the wall, you hit a bump wrong, you can get up into the outside wall, and Ron can't afford that. Right. So I like that line, Phil.
I do too. There's a battle right here for 7th. Terry Cook is 8th right now, looking to try to get that 7th spot away from Johnny Benson. Right now, it doesn't matter if Johnny loses this spot or not. The only truck he's concerned with right now is that 33, and he's 4 spots behind him.
Again, we talked about it would probably come down to who finishes in front of the other driver in this championship hunt, and that is the case now. They have both led a lap, so they both get 5 bonus points. Kyle Busch has led the most laps. He will get the 5 bonus points for leading the most. So now it's just another position of who is in front of the other at the end of this race.
Pretty simple. It's really pretty simple.
It's all down to that.
And we felt like that was the case. These two, just like tomorrow in the Nationwide Series points battle, they know they've just got to go out and run each other. On Sunday, it's a bit of a different agenda. One cat's just got to survive, and he's going to be our champion. But not in the Truck Series. Surviving ain't enough here.
Johnny Benson, you talked about it, driving with his heart. At the beginning of this run, after a 2-tire stop, he was out in front. He battled back and forth with not only Kyle Busch, but Ron Hornaday. As they continue to battle around the racetrack, Johnny Benson looks to be worn out now. Johnny Benson has dropped back into the 7th spot.
Johnny's fine. His left side tires are saying, hey, we need a break over here.
Still there, still there.
We've got 12 laps to go right now. Johnny needs a caution flag right now.
Still there.
The caution flag right now would be perfect.
There's Scott Speed going to try to take both those positions away.
Johnny ducks to the inside to see if he can hold on to that position, but this could be another
look set there.
Loss.
Oh, that's a beautiful sight, Phil.
Not if you have to load him in the truck and take him home.
11 laps remaining. Kyle Busch with a 2.3 second lead over Brian Scott. Coming up on 10 laps of racing to go. The final 10 laps of the 2008 season, and what a memorable one it has been. We've had one of the closest finishes ever in the history of the Truck Series, and it took place here. And we've got a smoker coming out of turn number 4, and that will bring out a caution. We haven't seen it yet. It's Mike Skinner, and yes, the caution now has come out.
At the right front tire. I wouldn't be surprised, Phil, to see a bunch of people pit right now. That's a warning sign. That tells you that the right front tires are wearing. So be interesting to see what happens.
You know, we had a longer run, though, prior to the last caution flag.
Well, I guess we waited long enough for that to happen.
That was Doug Richard, Mike Skinner's crew chief.
Oh, man.
It's going to be a little bit of cleanup here, too, so we're not, you know, we're going to cut down on the number of laps that we're going to have of green flag racing.
There's not going to be a lot of laps, but I think we've documented this at the beginning. It could come down to a pit stop. A single pit stop, and this one right here could be the determining factor of our championship.
Well, Michael, Johnny has to stop, whether Ron stops or not.
And you know, Kyle Busch has lost a second in time over from his fastest lap to his last lap by. That's a second. You can make up a lot of ground if you're a second faster than a guy over 5 or 6 laps.
There are 21 trucks on the lead lap right now. Ray Dunlap.
Hey guys, just to let you know, they cannot talk to Ron Hornaday. Rick Wren's been trying to get him. Rick Corelli's been trying to get him. They have no communication. So Rick Wren is saying, we'll go with the tire pressures like we started the race. Getting ready to pit. The 33 will come.
He said he can hear us. He waved at us. We're going to pit when it's open. I think they're all coming. Just be ready. There's only 9 laps to go.
Now does Johnny
Pit
stay
when
out?
it's ready, Hornaday. When it's open, pit.
He can't.
It's open this time, pit.
He can't stay out.
Only pit if the leader pits. What do you think, Rick? You think we need to pit?
If he's asking me.
You see how much tires are. You got 9 laps, 8 laps to go.
Benson's staying out, they say. I don't know if he is or not. I don't know.
The number of trucks that stay out will be critical as to what happens with this championship.
I think
if we pit, we're putting on 4 tires, guys.
Remember, they have to come on the access road if they're going to pit.
Brian Scott stays on the racetrack, as well as Todd Bodine.
We're seeing more and more. Kevin Harvick is going to stay on the racetrack.
Johnny Benson stays on the racetrack. Is that right?
Johnny Benson stays on the track.
Should have came. Everybody behind me came. So sorry about that.
Should have came. I agree, Johnny.
Now will Ron put 2 tires on to make sure he gets out right behind Johnny Benson? Because right now, Johnny Benson is leading this championship.
Chris Taboda.
Brian Scott making the choice to stay out. Kyle Busch said they had to come in. The tire wear was starting to show. They said they were going to make an audible 4 or 2. They said, let's just go with white. So that is the decision. The 51 is down and away. Ray.
Because of the radio problem, Hornaday had no input on this, but he did hear Rick Corelli, the spotter, who said, we're going to put 4 tires on this thing. They believe the tires will make the difference. We'll see how it turns out. Hornaday's going to get 4 on the Camping World Chevy. Adam?
And they went back and forth quite a while. Johnny Benson and his crew chief, Trip Bruce, I'm talking about. Johnny said, I feel like we need to come. How many are on the lead lap as you see the leaders exiting pit road? And Trip Bruce said, we have got to stay out and ride this thing out. It is our only chance. That's what Benson has done. And JB just came on the radio and said, talk to the 22, see if they will work with us. Every position will help us down the stretch.
Hey guys, a lot of guys beat out Hornaday. When he stayed for 4 tires, a lot of trucks, looks like maybe 5 trucks beat him out. So we're going to have some trucks in between Hornaday and Benson.
Now, let's take this championship battle aside. This is going to be the most incredible finish to a season-ending race you ever seen. Kyle Busch pitted. He got 2 tires. Hornaday gets 4 tires. Some guy, Brian Scott had one of the best trucks on the track. He stayed out.
Stays out. Kevin Harvick stays out. He was one of the stronger trucks on the racetrack early on. Folks, we're staying right here. We can't leave this situation. Johnny Benson stayed on the racetrack. when they come back across the start-finish line, we'll see where everyone will restart.
I think there's 10 trucks between Johnny and Ron. Phil?
We'll see when they come by here, and we'll get a tally here on how many trucks are between, Johnny. There's a lap-down truck, the Kevin Wood, the 21, Taylor Malsom, the 24.
Malsom's on the lead lap.
Looks like about 6 trucks in between, 6 or 7 trucks in between right now, Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday.
Right now we're scored with Johnny Benson in 6th and Ron Hornaday in 13th. So 7 trucks, as you mentioned, in between. Take a look at this amazing racing between our title contenders.
We're racing for a lead, but more importantly, we're racing for a championship.
Coming into this race, it was 3 points. Take a look at this. Johnny Benson cuts right in between the KHI race trucks of Ron Hornaday and Kevin Harvick.
Check Hornaday here as we get off turns, as we try to exit off turn 2. Watch Hornaday squeeze up in front of Johnny. Oh, he tries to make a move.
Look at how Kyle Busch got the lead. Now watch this. Johnny goes high. Ron's on the bottom. The middle's open. There I go.
Look how tight that is.
But remember, this was after lap 90. This was after we had restarted after that debris caution on lap number 90.
Guys, we documented there's 7 trucks right now in between Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday. We've only got 7 laps to go.
We're gonna have 5.
We're gonna have maybe 5 laps to go. What if we get another caution flag? We may only have 2 or 3 green flag laps for Ron Hornaday to pass all those trucks.
I just love 4 tires right now. I really like the call Richie Waters made. 2 tires. Don't put me in jeopardy. Don't put all those trucks in front of me. 2 tires are going to be plenty enough for Kyle Busch to make a move for the win.
Double A.
And a lot of talk on the radio during this caution. We told you about Scott Speed and the plan for JB to go around him on the restart. Right behind him, another one of his teammates, Taylor Malsom. Then you've got Kyle Busch. They reminded Rocky Ryan, the spotter, to talk to Kyle's guys on the spotter stand to make sure they can work with the 51 as well. That is the plan. So hopefully they've got partners in front and behind, all that to ensure Johnny Benson will be the 2008 champion, right?
And real quickly, let's hear from Rick Wren. Rick, you think 4 tires will be the difference?
Well, 4 tires should be worth about 2 seconds. That's all I can say. We don't have any radio communication with the driver, so it's kind of tough. I just made a call. He could hear us, but I couldn't hear him, so I put 4 tires on it. We're just going to have to roll the dice and see. It didn't help us them blowing the track. That lost us an extra lap.
How's your tongue supply?
I haven't even had any today.
I don't believe that. I know better. Rick Wren, ready to go. We'll see. How many laps are left, guys?
It'll be 5 when we get to the start-finish line. 5 laps remaining in the 2008 season.
I think 5 laps may be enough for Hornaday, but if we get another caution flag, I'm not so sure.
How about Brian Scott? Brian Scott looking to win his first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race right here at Homestead Miami Speedway. But I'm guessing right now he's got a little bit of a worry behind him. He's got Todd Bodine, he's got Kevin Harvick back there, Dennis Setzer.
This is the first time he's ever been in this position. He's bringing them down with 5 to go, leading the race.
Be ready.
This is the most important restart of this kid's life.
A great restart for Brian Scott. Green flag in the air. 5 laps to go. Kyle Busch all over the back bumper of that 24 of Taylor Malsom.
Hornaday has not gotten by anybody yet. He works to the inside of Timothy Peters, the 17 truck. Battle for the lead, side by side.
Todd Bodine looking to the inside of Brian Scott. Brian Scott with the momentum on the outside. Can he hold on to the lead? Going into turn 3, they're side by side. Here comes Kevin Harvick.
Look at Kevin Harvick right down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Johnny Benson's hanging tough.
Johnny's holding on.
Picks up the spot. He's running in the 5th spot.
4 laps remain. It's Todd Bodine leading Brian Scott and Kevin Harvick.
With 4 laps to go, there's 4 trucks between the 2 of them.
Hornaday trying to move forward. He was 11th when they went by the start-finish line. Benson was in 5th.
Kyle Busch not quite able to clear Johnny, but we know Kyle Busch wants to get up there and win this race. Here comes Hornaday on your left of your screen, getting on the inside of Crafton, drives right by him.
Kyle Busch trying to get by that 23. Taking a position away from Johnny Benson, moving toward the front. Again, 2 tire stop for that 51. Now just 2 positions between Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday.
3 laps to go.
Can Johnny Benson run with Kyle Busch? Kyle Busch and get a spot from him. You know Hornaday's going to try to get that 22. That's Johnny Benson's teammate between the two of them.
Look at Johnny fights back to the inside of the 51 of Kyle Busch.
Ron Hornaday now will try to get by. Oh, we've got a caution. We've got a problem on the backstretch.
That was the worst thing that could happen for Ron Hornaday.
Oh, man.
The caution has come out once again. It will be a green-white checkered finish. There will be 2 laps, and that is it.
How impressive was Johnny's run just then? Not only did he hold his own, he was trying to pass Kyle Busch when the caution flew. I love the way that man's driven this race.
There's Taylor Malsom right there. Believe it or not, Johnny Benson's teammate.
Folks, take a deep breath. We're going to be right back to Homestead Miami Speedway for the final laps of the 2008 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season. Who will be your champion? We're going to find out. Welcome back. Miscues by Ron Hornaday in 2008 season.
Mansfield, he gets in trouble, gets turned around, bounces off the inside wall. Then it continues on. Here's Michigan. Look at that 51 truck of Kyle Busch on the inside. Very late in the race, Ron gets turned around, finishes back in the 20s.
Emotions ran very high at the end of that race. Then remember Bristol.
He got pushed into a wreck by his own teammate.
It was Jack Sprague at the time that got into the back of him. Martinsville
running second, runs out of gas with about 3 laps to go.
Then Phoenix last week, very first lap of the race, spins into the wall. These are the problems that Ron Hornaday has had in the 2008 season. Those problems right now could be the difference between a championship and finishing second.
And remember now, Johnny Benson has had his troubles as well. So, but I talked to Rick Wren. He said, hey, this is just one of the races. You know, he mentioned all those races we just looked at. He said we could have done better there.
You know what the most important thing to remember right this minute is? Okay, green, white, checker, great. One attempt at a green, white checker.
Exactly.
If someone misses a shift on this restart and they pile up, Johnny Benson will be the champion. The caution comes out and the race is over. It's official.
Remember, we said Johnny Benson has hit it moments. Remember, he was running second on the last lap at Martinsville in the spring. He gets turned around, finishes 25th. Memphis, he blows an engine, finishes 33rd. Las Vegas, leading the race, blows the right front tire and knocks the wall down. And then last week, we've talked about that for a whole week.
It all comes down to this. The final 2 laps of the 2008 season. Out in front of the field right now is Todd Bodine. Johnny Benson runs 6th, Ron Hornaday 9th. Whoever finishes in front of the other will be your championship.
Be ready.
The champion will be decided. Green in the air. Todd Bodine gets a good restart. Johnny Benson also a good one. Here comes Ron Hornaday. He looked to the inside, knew he had to check up.
Scott Speed did not get that good of a restart. He lagged back on the restart, couldn't get going. Ron Hornaday is now on the inside of Scott Speed. Scott pinches him down.
Oh, flies. Contact was made. Ron Hornaday trying to clear that 22. He can't clear him. Down the backstretch they go. Johnny Benson's got the lead.
He's getting a push from Eric Darnell trying to clear the 22 truck. He does get by the 22.
Johnny Benson has the lead in this championship. Can he hold on to it? And can Todd Bodine hold on for the win? Right now, the white flag has come out. 1 lap of racing to go. 1 truck separates Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday.
Guys, I think he has too far to go. I don't think he can catch him, Mikey.
He's gaining on him. On the inside of Johnny Benson is Travis Quapple trying to pass that truck. I don't think so either. I think Johnny Benson's going to be your champion.
Hey, remember Atlanta? Ryan Newman passed Ron Hornaday for the lead. Cost him 15 points.
Piece of cake.
Johnny Benson currently running in the 6th spot. Could that be enough for a championship? Coming out of turn number 4, it's going to be Todd Bodine winning the race, and Johnny Benson will win the championship.
Buddy, you are the man. You are the man. Good job, buddy.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
What a race. What a finish.
Ron Hornaday came within a bumper of Johnny Benson and a championship.
There's Johnny's wife, Debbie, right there.
Trip Bruce is saying, did we win or did we not win?
Trust us, Trip, you won.
Trip Bruce, you are a championship crew chief. You have won the 2008 championship. You finished in front of Ron Hornaday.
What an incredible day.
That was all that they had to do after both of them led laps today. One had to finish in front of the other. Adam Alexander.
And there's a lot of question marks down here as if they did win the championship. Johnny Benson came on the radio and said, either way, guys, it's been a great year. But NASCAR officials have not informed them that they are, in fact, the 2008 champion. And that is what they're waiting on. They want the official word. A lot of anxiety remains. And I'll tell you what, for a team that's worked this hard, I guess it's only fitting they should wait a little bit longer. And they just got the call that he is, in fact, the 2008 champion. How special is that for Johnny Benson?
How about Ty Bodine winning his third race of the year? Came from nowhere.
What about Brian Scott? A second place finish. Can this kid wait for 2009? He's going to be, he'll have a great offseason.
He was unbelievably strong today, led this race. It was very impressive, the performance that Brian Scott put on today. But more importantly, this championship came down to the final lap, like we talked about. The final turn off of turn number 4.
We knew it would. We knew it would.
Johnny Benson had about a 3-truck lead over that 33 of Ron Hornaday.
Let's say we thought it would, because 50 laps into this thing, it looked like Ron had Johnny beat. But what great pit calls by Trip Bruce down there. What great adjustments, and what a drive by Johnny Benson. He drove his tail off to win this championship today.
That was the pit call of the year. Trip Bruce put 2 tires on that truck. Pit call of the year.
Adam Alexander.
You talk about a team effort. Everybody had a part of this one. And the celebration is on. Tears in the eyes of many. None for Trip Bruce. Just a big old championship smile. And Gene Need comes over to congratulate him. Gene now working in the Truck Series for Bill Davis Racing. Congratulations, Trip. How special is this moment?
Oh, that's special there. We really didn't have the best truck here tonight. That's obvious. But pit crew brought him out first. We talked about pitting 2 tires. When you do that, you sure need to come out in the lead. If you pit for 2 tires, you come out in second. You just didn't get it done. But those guys...
I think that water was cold.
Yeah.
How long did you wrestle with the idea of doing 2 tires, Trip?
Not long at all. I figured we'd do it anyway. The tire wear was good. Goodyear tires have been really awesome this year. They've shown that before. We did it in Kentucky and really brought our truck to life. I didn't think there was a chance of that, but we were kind of going for broke there. I don't know what you call that when you're just going for it all at the end there. We knew we didn't have a good truck. Johnny drove it harder than he ever, it's not right to drive things that hard to do that, but he did it. He hung on to it. Tires worn out. Sunoco fuel, awesome all night. We did have great fuel mileage thanks to John Dysinger, TRD. It's a lot of people to thank here. Exide tonight, we've performed really well with Exide.
Doug Richard with congratulations.
Certified Used Vehicles, been a great sponsor all year. Performed well with them too. This is real special. I'm kind of tears in my eyes here. It's not the water, it's tears.
Emotional night for Trip Bruce. He's able to help Johnny Benson experience another NASCAR championship.
Johnny Benson becoming only the 2nd driver to win a Truck Series championship and a Busch Series championship.
Watch this restart. Hornaday needs to get around the 09 and the 22. The 22 doesn't get a very good start, Phil. Hornaday even runs into the backup.
Maybe intentionally. Maybe he doesn't get a good start intentionally.
We just know he doesn't. Now watch the way he races through turn 1 and 2. Hornaday's down on the bottom of him. Scott Speed drops right down there and races side by side with Hornaday. Look how loose Hornaday gets. And he isn't able to clear Scott Speed. It brings other trucks into the action. And Rick, you said he lost his championship by a couple of truck lengths off turn 4. That was the key to Johnny Benson winning this championship here tonight.
Johnny beat him by 0.4 of a second.
And that cost him a bunch of time right there. Scott Speed raced Ron Hornaday awful hard, but they're racing for a position.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that. They're racing for a position, and all gloves are off with a green-white checkered and a championship hanging in a balance.
Exactly. There was 2 laps of racing to go, and that's it. 2 laps in the 2008 season was all that remained.
The worst possible scenario happened. We got a caution flag in those last 10 laps when Ron Hornaday needed time to use those 4 tires.
One more lap. If he had had one more lap, he probably gets to Johnny Benson.
Johnny Benson's going to catch his breath. We'll let you catch your breath, and we're going to hear from our race winner and champion next. Welcome back. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. If you have DirecTV, I'm hoping you are watching this whole race right here in HD.
And you can watch the Champion Crown Sunday on DirecTV's Hot Pass.
That's exactly right.
And I think I've stopped breathing. That's the darndest thing I've ever seen.
Well, let's go down to Adam Alexander. I think you might have maybe somewhat of a dejected owner with you.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick, a great run tonight, finishing third, but unfortunately your driver comes up a little bit short in his bid for a second championship. Talk about this evening.
Well, I just want to say congratulations to Bill Davis and everybody over there at BDR and Johnny Benson. Man, those guys put on a heck of a battle all year, and you know, we had a great truck tonight. American Commercial Line Chevrolet was a lot of fun to drive, and I had one eye backwards and one eye forward, and you know, Ron's truck was really good, and just came down to pitch strategy there at the end.
Talk about this season and what it's meant, because this has been quite a battle between two great veterans in the Truck Series, Benson and Hornaday.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's been fun to watch those guys race against each other, and you know, Rick Wren and Ernie Cope and all the guys at the shop have done a really great job of putting everything together, and you can't ask for it. I think we've won 12 or 13 races in the last couple of years, so you know, the team's right where it needs to be, and all you can ask for when you come to this point is for an opportunity. Obviously, you don't like to lose, but that's part of our sport.
Yeah, you can always talk about what might have been when it's this close, but Kevin Harvick ends the season with a smile on his face. Krista?
In victory lane, Todd Bodine just talking, getting congratulations from his brother Brett. You start the season with a win in Daytona. You end the season with the win in Homestead. How about that for a bookend to 2008?
That's a great way to bookend it. Slumber Liquidators crew did a great job. I mean, we had a terrible race truck. It was not handling well at all, and they got us a lot of spots on pit road, and that made a big difference. Guys I didn't have to race to pass. And then Junior made a lot of big swings at the setup and air pressure and wedge and track bar. I mean, he did a great job and thought it through and made the truck the best it could possibly be. And it still wasn't great, but you know, it was good enough to hold Brian off. I'm awful happy for him. He did a great job. The kid's an awesome driver, got a great future. Great win for Toyota in victory lane, and another championship for Johnny and Tripp and Toyota. It's they're long overdue, so I'm happy for them.
And it wasn't that long ago that there was a championship battle out here between you and Johnny. You've been in that position before. Can you believe what we saw unfold tonight on the racetrack?
No, I don't want to comment on it because I'm shocked. I'm really shocked at it. But you know, Ron and those guys did a great job. Hey, Maxie, my new partner. You know, Ron and Rick did a great job all year long. They always had the truck to beat, and you know, it's a shame to come up short like that. But that's racing. You know, that's Craftsman Truck Series racing, and we're glad that Craftsman has been around for 14 years or 13 years, but now it's Camping World Racing, and we're looking forward to next year and getting the championship.
A new name. It's going to be the same old racing. Todd Bodine gets the win. He's in victory lane. Adam?
And the man who finished inside the top 10 tonight, but not quite enough for a championship, is Ron Hornaday. I know there's major disappointment at this stage. Talk about tonight and how tough it is to be a runner-up in such a tight race.
Nah, it was a good race. Johnny and I raced hard. That was pretty good call in Tripp's Bruce putting 2 tires on, and it just one of them things. I mean, the Camping World Chevrolet ran good all night long, and we just didn't have track position at the end, and a lot of them guys put 2 tires on. So I've seen the race one with put 4 tires on, and it just wasn't the case with the track tonight. It just, the track position was everything. So good call, but it didn't work. So we just didn't have enough laps. Last lap, Johnny was slipping pretty good, and we were going to catch him. So I'm on my way to congratulate that guy. What a good champ.
Talk about the restart, and you and Scott Speed had quite a battle, and obviously you needed to get around Scott Speed if you were going to have a chance to run down JB.
Well, they definitely worked it as teammates, you know, with Kyle, what he did race me when Johnny was up in the lead, and then Scott looking in the mirror just to make sure he slowed me up. The screen was out, and he just waited a long time to go. So I don't know what you do in situations like that. It gave Johnny just enough for 2 or 3 trucks, and maybe it would have helped coming up off the corner. But heck, you don't know. I deserve it. I mean, after last week and giving all them points away last week, we could have came in here with a cushion, and we didn't. It's racing, and we're going. I mean, that's part of it. That's pretty fun.
Some radio issues on that last stop. How frustrating was that for you guys?
Yeah, I was going to tell Rick I was going to stay out. The truck's getting enough after 2 or 3 laps, it would be all right. But there was just no radio at all, and I didn't hear him. So Scott stayed out there, and we drove me pretty low getting into one there, and I got loose and had to drive him up. I mean, I didn't drive him up. I mean, he was sucking me around, and I learned my lesson last week. You know, you got to make sure you keep your nose in front of him, or you're going to spin out. No, just we'll work on them things. Next time we'll have 2 radios in it, maybe 2 batteries in the truck, and different things. But that's all you can do.
Another great season for Ron Hornaday.
I'm very impressed with Kevin Harvick's demeanor. What a gracious defeat those guys took, and Ron Hornaday the same way. That's impressive. All that emotion, but yet they were able to keep their cool and congratulate the champions.
Let's take a look at tonight's Stay in the Game with Just for Men hair color moment. It was Johnny Benson coming in a 2-tire stop.
Rick, I'm telling you, this is not only the stay-in-the-game moment for this race, this is for the year. This is a championship-winning call right there, guys.
And did you see the dude on the back? I got the tape on him. We're good. And he drives off pit road with the lead, and he was in the game the rest of the day.
And he stayed in the game by staying out on the racetrack. And that was huge. Johnny Benson, tears of joy rolling down the face of the 2008 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. Welcome back. The Ford 200 is in the books, and now we will have a new champion in the 2008 season. Let's hear from our champion. Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
In 1989, Johnny Benson won the late model championship at Berlin. In 93, he won the American Speed Association. In 95, he won the Busch Grand National Championship. And you are now the last ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. How does it feel?
More than words can describe. I got to cry down a backstretch, but hopefully I'm over it. It's just when Wayne come over the radio and said congratulations, that's way pretty cool. I mean, it's fairly emotional, obviously. These guys are the one. You know, Tripp told us early on, he says, if we ain't the fastest, we will definitely do what we have to do and be the smartest. So Ron and Rick and those guys did a tremendous job all season long. It was a great run. My wife kept telling me you only got to win by one. Yeah, she kept saying, God's already got it planned. It's all set, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And that's how my approach was going in the race. It's going to be what it's going to be. And just if Ron didn't come in, I was going to try tires. I knew that was probably not going to work. And then I thought I lost it when the 09 got by me there. I was just really bad at the end, and just I thought that lost us. I tell you the truth. And I got to thank Exide Batteries for being on board this weekend. Toyota certified used vehicles. Some people have done such a great job, and we got Ron, good job, man. Good job. This man here is what makes us so meaningful, because he's a hell of a racer. Best there is in this sport.
We want to run at each other so bad when we were side by side.
Yeah.
We did.
Thank you.
Did you know that the points were that close all through the last few laps?
I don't know if you paid attention, but it was pretty close coming into this race. So I don't know if he finished one or two behind us. I still don't know that, because it took a long time for him to decide who actually won it. But got to thank my wife Debbie and both my kids. They've been at every race I've won this year, so that part was pretty cool. Got to really thank Bill and Gail Davis. This is for them. I mean, they have gave me a great opportunity along with Toyota to come do this, and it was just awesome. I'm glad that we could get that for them, because it means more to me to get that for them. They've done so much for me.
Johnny, the official presentation will be coming up here in a few minutes, but Brad, if we can get a shot here. This is Caitlin and Michaela, and check out the t-shirts, guys. My daddy rocks. They got it right this time. Johnny Benson, the 2008 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champ.
Take a look at our unofficial results. The top 10 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Both of your championship contenders in the top 10. Johnny Benson finishes that one important spot in front of Ron Hornaday.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's right, Phil. That's the only way we can sum this up.
Todd Bodine will win the race. As we mentioned, he bookended the season, winning the first race at Daytona and then coming home here in Homestead Miami Speedway as the victor once again. Good runs by the 16 of Brian Scott. We saw our Cup drivers, Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, finish third and fourth. It was an impressive run for both of those drivers. We thought they were going to play into the final results. It ended up being those two drivers separated by no one. It was Johnny Benson, one spot in front of Ron Hornaday. The official trophy presentation will take place next. Mike Helton, president of NASCAR, will do the honors of handing Johnny Benson and Bill Davis the championship trophy. Todd Bodine wins the championship. Well, the race. Johnny Benson wins the championship and celebrates. Both were celebrating at the end of this race. Johnny Benson did his celebrating a little bit later after he found out that he had won the 2008 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship. It's time to hand out the hardware. Let's go back to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick, and I'm down here at the stage, and you know, for 9 consecutive seasons, we've had a different champion in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and what an unbelievable finish. And now we get to give some hardware, and I'm glad to have Mike Helton, president of NASCAR, here to give some congratulations to Johnny Benson.
Johnny, congratulations on behalf of all of NASCAR. I know the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series fans expected no less, but that was one heck of a finish. Great championship. Congratulations to Bill Davis Racing. You guys earned it. We're proud to have you as our Craftsman Truck Series champion.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I mean, it's been just a huge pleasure to be able to be with NASCAR for as many years as I've been, and this means a lot to me. So thank you very much.
And let's get the trophy presentation. Scott Howard, who's Director of Brand and Sponsorship for Craftsman. And Scott, your opportunity to give away an awful nice trophy, the last time ever for Craftsman.
Absolutely. Johnny, congratulations on the thousands, on behalf of thousands of Craftsman tool users and our manufacturers. Congratulations on 2008 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship.
And there is a trophy. You get to hold that thing up high, and there'll be lots of pictures coming your way.
Johnny Benson winning the championship in his 4th full season of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. This is Bill Davis's first ever NASCAR championship, and it comes right here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
And Bill Davis was key to Toyota being in the Truck Series, helped them get up and running, and now to stand there and celebrate with the championship trophy, I know that's got to be special for he and Gale. What a great couple they are.
Toyota won the Manufacturer's Trophy a couple weeks back, and now the Driver's Trophy goes to Toyota as well. Welcome back. Celebration continuing on the stage. The championship in Johnny Benson's hands. We'll take a look at our point standings. Johnny Benson winning this championship by just 7 over Ron Hornaday.
And remember now, Ron Hornaday finishes in front of Johnny Benson. It flip-flops, and Ron Hornaday's our champion.
Let's go back trackside and to the stage to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. The celebration continues up here. The team ready to get their photos, and I wanted to not finish this show without talking to Bill Davis. Bill, your 21st year in NASCAR racing. You've been the bridesmaid a couple of times here. What was going through your mind in those final laps, knowing how close this championship was?
Well, basically, it was looking like another bridesmaid deal there for a while, but you know, Rick Renn's a great crew chief, and that's a great team, and they elected to pit, and you know, Tripp made the right call. That was our only hope, was to stay out. And, you know, just I'm real happy for this whole team, all these guys, Johnny, Tripp, all of them, Triad, you know, John Dysinger, the great engines, Todd Holbert, the great trucks, and Bill Davis Racing. You know, really, this is what it's all about. You know, this is why you keep coming to these things for 20-something years and working hard, and this is what it's all about.
We're glad you got it, and please pass along our congratulations to Gale also. And guys, maybe one of the craziest situations ever, Johnny Benson not returning to this team. He's now won 4 championships, and he has yet to ever defend any of those titles. We still don't know what JB's doing next year, do we?
Yeah, I go to the beach this week, I can tell you that.
All right, go celebrate. Johnny Benson wins the title.
What do you guys think? What a season.
Right, we thought it was going to be like this, and then it absolutely as billed.
Never surprised by what these guys do on the track.
What an amazing 2008 season. So many people put in tireless hours of work each week to make sure everyone at home sees and hears a great show. We want to thank everyone associated with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We appreciate your dedication to excellence all season long. And you, the fans, thank you for allowing us to spend a couple hours with you each week. And finally, Craftsman. What an amazing relationship over the past 14 years. Since the inception of the Super Truck Series in 1995 to the crowning of this year's champion, Craftsman has been with us every step of the way. The changing of the guard happens tonight, but we will never forget the contributions Craftsman has made to build this series into what it is today. For all of us here at Speed, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next season in Daytona.